All right, so hey everyone. If you're listening to this deep dive, chances are pretty good that someone you know and love just got engaged.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, right. Big congrats to the happy couple, but also big congrats to you because you get to be part of all the wedding fun.
You do. It's such a fun time.
It is, it is. But amidst all the planning and the excitement, at some point it kind of hits you, right? Like, what am I going to wear?
Oh my gosh, yes. It can be a little bit stressful.
Yeah, especially for the mothers of the bride and groom. There's so many like unspoken rules and etiquette questions. Like, where do you even start?
Right.
Well, lucky for you, we've got this awesome guide from Darianna Bridal Tuxedo. They're a shop that's seen it all. Weddings, trends, the whole shebang.
They really are the experts.
They are. And they tackle all the big questions head on, starting with the most obvious one, color.
Ooh, yeah. Color can be a minefield.
Right. But Darianna says the smartest thing you can do is just talk to the bride or groom first.
It's such a crucial first step. I can't tell you how many times I've seen mothers come in with a dress in mind, only to find out it totally clashes with the wedding colors. Or, even worse, it's the exact same color as the bridesmaids' dresses.
Oh, no. Yeah, that would be awkward.
And some couples are super laid back about attire, but others have a very specific vision. I recently had a bride who was like obsessed with jewel tones. She wanted deep emeralds and sapphire blues everywhere, even on the table linens.
Wow. Dedicated to the theme.
Totally. So for her, if the mother of the bride had shown up in like a pale pink dress, disaster.
Okay, so jewel tones are having a moment, huh?
Mm.
Are we seeing a shift away from the more, like, traditional pastels?
Big time. Designers like Adriana Papel and Jenny Yu are incorporating those rich jewel tones into all their new collections, which really works well with this trend we've been seeing towards like more formal, almost luxurious weddings.
Interesting. So you could accidentally be super on trend without even realizing it. Okay, so let's say you've got the color figured out. When should you actually start shopping? Like, how early are we talking?
Well, Dariana recommends at least 3 to 5 months beforehand, and there are some really good reasons for that.
Yeah, I can imagine alterations alone could take a while.
Oh, for sure. Alterations are a big one. Plus, you don't want to deal with decision fatigue. You know how it is. You try on a million dresses and suddenly everything starts to look the same.
Yeah, and then you end up just picking something out of sheer exhaustion.
Exactly. Giving yourself plenty of time means you can browse, try things on, and not feel rushed.
So true. And I think it's smart to factor in your own schedule too. Like if you know you've got a busy period coming up, maybe even start a little earlier.
Yeah, procrastination is definitely not your friend in this situation.
Okay, now let's get into something I think a lot of people find confusing. Dress codes. What does black tie actually mean these days?
Good question, because it can be a little intimidating, right? The guide breaks it down pretty simply, though. Black tie basically means a floor-length gown. But it doesn't have to be, like, stuffy or old-fashioned.
Good.
Yeah, there are tons of modern, really sleek options that are still totally elegant and appropriate.
So like you wouldn't want to show up in a cocktail dress, even if it's super sparkly.
For a true black tie event, definitely not. Now, if the dress code is more relaxed, like cocktail attire, then you've got some more flexibility. But for black tie, floor length is the way to go.
Noted. And are there other dress codes people should be aware of?
Well, the wedding theme itself can dictate the attire, so you might see things like beach formal or semi-formal. I've even had clients who requested outfits based on a specific era, like Gatsby-inspired, or even, get this, Victorian.
Oh, wow. That sounds incredible. I'd love to see pictures of those.
I know, right?
Okay, so we've talked about color, timing, dress codes.
Yeah.
Now, what about this whole idea of seasonal gowns? Do you actually have to wait for a specific season to shop?
That's actually a myth the guide debunks pretty well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gown styles are much less seasonal now than they used to be. Designers are creating collections year-round.
That makes sense.
And with fashion being so global these days, there isn't really that strict, adherence to the traditional seasons anymore.
So you're saying I could theoretically find a beautiful gown in the middle of winter and it wouldn't be weird?
Exactly. There are gorgeous options out there no matter the time of year. One thing I really appreciate about this guide is it's pretty honest about the price tag.
Yeah, these dresses are definitely an investment.
Right. And it can feel a little, I don't know, strange, spending a lot on something you might only wear once.
It's definitely something you think about.
But then they reframe it in a way that I really like. They're like, look, this outfit is capturing a milestone moment. It's going to be in family photos forever.
That's so true. You'll be looking back at these pictures for years and years.
Exactly. And you want to feel confident and proud of how you look.
Right. It's not about being vain or anything.
Right. No, not at all. It's more about like feeling good in your own skin, and that radiates outwards.
I love that. And Darianna really emphasizes finding a store with a wide price range, which I think is
Right.
so important.
Oh, absolutely. You shouldn't have to sacrifice style just because of your budget.
Right.
There are definitely options out there for everyone.
Yeah. And a good stylist can help you find something beautiful and within your price point.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of finding a good stylist, let's talk about some potential dilemmas. Like, what if the bride wants you to wear a color that you just, absolutely hate on yourself?
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one.
What do you do?
Honestly, honesty and communication, just like with everything else wedding related.
Makes sense.
The guide suggests, like, gently explaining your concerns to the bride. Emphasize that you want to look and feel your best on her big day.
Because when you feel good, you look good.
Exactly. And ultimately, that makes her look good too, right?
Right. And I think sometimes brides are so focused on the overall, aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
that they don't realize the mother of the bride or groom is often photographed separately.
Oh, for sure. It's not like you'll be clashing with the bridesmaids in every single photo.
Exactly.
So a slight variation in color might not disrupt her vision at all. Like, say she wants everyone in shades of blue, maybe you could wear a deep teal or navy instead of, like, the lighter shade she's chosen for the bridesmaids.
Ooh, I like that. It's a good compromise.
Right. You're still respecting her wishes, but also honoring your own style.
Okay, now for the question I know everyone's wondering. Can the mother of the bride and mother of the groom wear the same color?
Yes, absolutely they can. But, and I bet you can guess what I'm going to say,
Communication is key.
ding, ding, ding. Make sure both the bride and groom are okay with it and that both mothers are on the same page about the specific shade they're thinking of.
And even if the colors are technically the same, like the fabrics and embellishments can make them look completely different, right?
Yeah.
Totally. You could both wear navy, but one dress is like sleek and modern, while the other's more romantic and flowy
It's all about finding a look that reflects your individual style.
within that shared color palette. Yeah.
The guide actually shows a picture of several navy dresses, and they all look so different.
Hmm.
It's a good reminder that there's so much nuance within a single color.
It is. And it's a perfect example of why online shopping for this kind of event can be tricky.
Oh, tell me about it.
You just can't replicate that in-person experience, seeing the fabric, feeling the texture, trying things on.
And sizing is a huge concern with online shopping.
Huge. What looks like your size on a model could fit totally differently on you in real life.
Right.
And then you're stuck dealing with returns, which can be such a hassle, especially if you're cutting it close to the wedding date.
Ugh, yeah, the last-minute scramble.
The guide actually mentions a story about a customer who ordered a dress online, and when it arrived, it was a total disaster.
Oh, no.
The color was off, the fabric felt cheap. It looked nothing like the picture online.
I can only imagine the panic.
It happens. That's why having a stylist to guide you is so valuable.
The one who knows what they're doing.
Exactly. They can help you navigate all those potential pitfalls and make sure you end up with a dress that fits properly, flatters your figure, and makes you feel amazing.
Right, and it turns the whole shopping experience into something fun.
Instead of a dreaded chore.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about what to look for in a dress, how to avoid some common mistakes, but how do you actually find the right store to shop at? Like, where do you even start?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? We've all heard those horror stories about, like, pushy salespeople and those bridal salons that are just way too overwhelming.
Oh, totally. It can be intimidating.
So how do you find a store that's actually going to make this, like, a good experience?
Well, Darianna's guide has some really great advice on this. They really stress the importance of finding a store that specializes in, like, mothers and formal wedding wear.
Okay, so not just heading to the nearest department store. Right. Because a specialized store means they have stylists who really understand the specific, niche. They know the etiquette, the trends, what styles flatter different body types. They can really help you find a dress that's perfect for your role and, the wedding's overall vibe.
And they'd have a wider selection, right? Not just prom dresses or bridesmaid gowns mixed in.
Exactly. And a wider range of sizes, too. They'll also be more up to date on all the latest trends, which can be super helpful if you're feeling a little lost.
So specialized is key. What else should we be looking for?
Well, let's talk about alterations.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Because it's almost inevitable that you'll need some adjustments, even if you find a dress that's, close to a perfect fit off the rack.
Right.
A good store will have a skilled alterations team, like on site. Or at least they'll have recommendations for trusted seamstresses in the area.
That's a good point. You don't want to be scrambling to find someone to do alterations a week before the wedding.
Exactly. And, speaking of stores that check all the boxes, the guide actually highlights Darianna Bridal and Tuxedo as a great example.
Yeah, it does sound like they really know what they're doing, based on all this advice.
They do. And if you look at their online reviews, it's clear that their customers agree. People rave about their personalized attention, the quality of the dresses, and how the whole shopping experience felt really positive and, stress-free.
Which is so important. I mean, you got enough to worry about with the wedding planning. You don't need a stressful dress hunt on top of everything else.
Totally. It's about finding a store that feels like a partner in the process. They're there to help you look and feel your best, not just to make a sale.
I like that. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap the key takeaways for everyone listening.
Okay, so first and foremost, communication is key. Talk to the couple about their vision for the wedding attire. Make sure everyone's on the same page about colors, dress codes, and any specific requests they might have.
Yeah. And start your dress search early, like way earlier than you think you need to. Give yourself plenty of time to explore options, find the perfect dress, and get those alterations done.
Yes, don't procrastinate.
And don't be afraid to ask for expert advice. A good stylist can truly make this whole process so much easier and actually enjoyable.
It should be fun. It's a celebration.
Exactly. And, this advice applies to any formal event, really, not just weddings. Whether it's a gala, a charity event, a fancy dinner party, these tips can help you find the perfect outfit and feel confident and stylish.
Totally agree. And if you're in the Pennsylvania area, it sounds like Darianna Bridal and Tuxedo is the place to go.
We'll have to check them out. All right, so we've loved diving into this topic with you all today. Hopefully you're feeling more prepared to navigate the world of mother of the bride or groom attire and actually have some fun with it. Be sure to share your own stories, any tips you might have, or even questions. We always love hearing from you. Until next time, happy dress hunting.